Hey, this is Notser, and this is a Tier 7 Soviet destroyer, Minsk. He has 15,100 health, a top speed of 43 knots, 5 130mm guns, 8 torpedoes, a surface detect of 7.5 kilometers, and 28 AA defense rating. For my modules, reduced crit chance on main armament, improved aiming accuracy, reduced the chance of flooded fire, improved acceleration. For my commander, preventative maintenance, expert marksman, improved smoke, adrenaline rush, last stand, basic firing training, demolition expert, and advanced firing training. We are on the map Hotspot, and this is going to be the eventual replacement for the Kiev whenever the alternative Soviet destroyer line comes into the game. What is unique about it? Well, you notice that I have expert marksman. I have it for a reason. This feels like a Gnevny, a Gnevny. This is very, very, very slow in the turret traverse category. So I have to compensate for that. I don't really have to do that with the Kiev. The Kiev feels pretty good on its own, and maybe that's why it's becoming a tier 8. It still has really crappy torpedoes. Max range 4 kilometers, so it is 99% a gunboat. And I saw my old counterpart here. In fact, we're both tier 7 at this time. But for whatever reason, he doesn't fire his guns at me. I'm thinking maybe he's going to send torpedoes. Yeah, I don't know what his plan was, but it didn't work out. He popped smoke, and we killed him. We killed him very, very quickly. And I'm going to try and engage the enemy Nuremberg. So, the Minsk is alright. It's a tier 7. It gives up a slight hit point to the Kiev. So this is the difference between what the Kiev is right now at tier 7 and what the Minsk will be basically on these stats. And by the way, all this is in progress, work is in progress, and the stats are not final, so anything can change. But if I compare it to the current Kiev, it's going to give up a little bit of health. The turrets are obviously going to traverse slower. Its gun systems feel pretty much the same though. 130mm guns. It might give up or gain slightly more damage per shot. It's very tiny though. Overall, probably the biggest changes is the appearance of the ship, the slower turret traverse, and that's about it. And the slightly less health, and it's like 600 hit points. It's very tiny, or 700. Very, very tiny. But it is definitely not a sleek looking ship. Part of the progression in a wargaming product is that the vehicle actually looks like it's progressing in time, right? And the Kiev is a pretty slick looking ship, I have to say. I really like the lines on that ship. So I'm happy that it's moving up. I've always enjoyed that ship. I was a little sad that they had to nerf it, but I understand it was a ridiculous tier 7 ship. It was way better than anything at the time. And this is way back in my day, back in 2015, when the initial Soviet destroyer line came out. The gun systems were unnerved, so I think they did more damage on their HE and their AP, if you can believe it. And it just felt like a brick house. It was so powerful. But the torpedoes, 4 kilometers. Yeah, who cares? You usually operate at your max range or very close to it. Especially, 4 kilometers. Don't even think about using these torpedoes. Only use them when you absolutely get an ambush or defensive. There is no reason to ever work yourself into a position to be 4 kilometers away from your target. Just don't do it. Just fire your guns at max range. You should theoretically be setting them on fire. I have 11 or 12 chance to light the target on fire with Demolition Expert and of course the signal flags, but we've only got 1 fire. And I was commenting on this in the stream. I was going, you know what? It would be really nice if one of these salvos would set the target on fire. Because we know, when I set him on fire, he's going to be a 1-fire kind of battleship, and he's going to put it out, and then I have to wait 20 more seconds, or 20 minutes at this rate, for another fire to set. That is what... Oh, finally! Thank you, game. Thank you. As we are progressing, it's a very close game. Good luck trying to hit me, though, Scharnhorst. Not an easy shot, and he is not a one-fire kind of guy. It also kind of looks like he's using the fire prevention skill. Interesting. Interesting. So I'm going to transition to the turrets because we're just getting too close. I need to think about pulling back, and oh, sweet. Thank you, thank you. Also avoid that island, Notser. Yeah. First salvo, though, sets the turrets on fire. It's great. It's just great. And I'm going to give ground while engaging this target. The Scharnhorst is not worth my effort. At some point, team, at some point, you must realize he is only hurting you by dragging you away from the front. Don't continue to chase. Use your numbers, use your flanking, and go after something else. And that's what I'm going to be doing. As I'm moving this direction, you can notice that there's a cruiser in front of me. Yes, a Bajorni. And something else in smoke. So I'm going to transition directly to him. Now, I probably could have swapped to AP with this salvo, but I am trying to set the target on fire. Definitely trying to set the target on fire, and we do. We absolutely do. We'll see if he actually puts it out or lets it stick. Either way, he's perfectly broadside. AP would have been the better choice. He does put the fire out, and I think, yes, he was still immune. The window's small for a cruiser, but it didn't really matter. That window, however, has been closed, and we take out the enemy target. My team is actually losing right now. Believe it or not, as dominant as I've been on the flank, and as safe as it felt, the eastern flank has fallen. Nobody's alive. Nobody. So I hold my fire, nobody's detecting me. The last known position of a target was this enemy destroyer, Akatsuki, and he appears to be heading north into the mouth of my Atlanta and my Leander. He's going to have a tough time trying to deal with that. And of course, it just wouldn't be Tier 7 without you, Mr. Belfast, or Mrs. Belfast. It's one of those ships that you're going to have to deal with, and you're going to have to memorize their radar range, how often they can use smoke. It's really important you know this, and I know that the radar range is 8.45 or 8.49. It's very, very close to that number. As long as I operate somewhere within that realm and understand that that is on the table, I should be completely safe, completely aware of what's going on, and Miss Shores fires his AP. And no, Mr. Shores. That is not going to work. Not going to work at all. I still have 3 charges of smoke, and that Belfast, keep in mind that Belfast, on the left side of my screen, he appears to be heading towards me. This is dangerous. And I felt him. I feel it in my bones. I know he is coming to kill me. He is going to deny me my smoke, and I'm going to have to deal with radar. And yep, sure enough, he's looking right at me. No reason whatsoever to drop my smoke, because we all know what he wants to do, right? And for whatever reason, he's firing AP. This is not a target you fire AP at with 152mm guns and the angling that I have. You fire HE. You fire HE long time. All the time, every time. The only time I would even consider AP in the Belfast is if it's, honestly, not a destroyer. But he gives up the chase. I gain ground, plenty speed. The speed boost is great, of course. And we're just going to harass him as he's trying to retreat. The tables have now turned, my friend. You cannot engage me at this range, yet I can easily engage you with my laser guns. Oh, we set him on fire. Is that going to kill him? He disappears. Oh. 2 guns fail to pin. Two HE shells fail to pin. The Shores is still coming at me, and I'm just trying to angle, be as thin as I possibly can. That Belfast is still alive, though. But the Shores, he's 8.5 kilometers away, and clearly the enemy Belfast last known position is further away, so I can safely use my smoke, knowing that the Belfast is not going to move back into range. And you can't escape, Mr. Shores. I don't want to waste my smoke, of course. enemy Scharnhorst is in the area. And the Scharnhorst maybe was going to look at me. Maybe not. Either way, he has 6-kilometer range torpedoes, and I don't want to be within 6-kilometer ranges of him. I would like to stay safely away from him while he's trying to go after my friendly Bismarck. And the Bismarck is, of course, very powerful. She, and yes, it's a she. I don't care what the commander says. Oh, the Bismarck is so powerful. Only a man could be this powerful. The Germans, they're beautiful girls. And this beautiful girl is dealing with the Scharnhorst, and I'm going to help him out, of course. I expect the Scharnhorst is going to use his torpedo, and for whatever reason, he looks like he's looking at me. So that tells me he's possibly, yes, he's in his torpedo view. Whenever you see guns looking very abruptly away from the obvious target, that is probably telling you he's in his torpedo view, trying to give enough lead on the target. It is a small tell, but it's a very obvious, clear tell. You should make sure that you can pick up on that, especially on battleships. I know some destroyers, they barely have a gun sticking out. I get that. But for the battleship, there's no excuse to not see where his guns are pointed. For all reasons. So let's move towards the enemy. There are, of course, still enemies, and this is still a really close game. I don't have smoke. I am overextending a lot right now. Oh, yes. He shows himself. Oh, he's going to fire at me. So immediately I swap to him. Immediately he's going to die. I have to kill him. Please kill him. Yes, we killed the enemy Belfast. He just showed himself. Did we get lucky? Did someone with radar detect him? Yes, the Atlanta probably. The Atlanta was close enough that radar was a factor. And I appreciate that, Atlanta. The game doesn't give him credit for that. I don't know why the game isn't like, you know what? The only reason you guys were able to kill this target was this person. That is absolutely an assist. Absolutely. And yet, there's nothing that really considers that. You're just doing your job. Haha. Don't you wish people would do their job more? I do. Oh boy, do I do. But we take out the Belfast. We don't pass up a free kill. I did do a lot of damage to him prior. It wasn't well, it was a kill secure, but it wasn't a kill steal. I didn't take someone's kill. I was a significant amount of that damage. Enemy turrets moving away. And again, what is the deal with the fire? 11, 12%? Really? That's not enough high chance to set the target on fire? I've only gotten 9 fires? Really? Really? I don't think I'm missing the target. I don't think I'm aiming for turrets. Why is the fire's not happening? Huh? I'm wargaming. So the chat was like, maybe the stats aren't actually 100% accurate and all. We get so lucky with that dispersion. Just perfect. Oh, there you go. If you complain enough, apparently it's going to fix itself. That's what we've learned right here, right? So it's only 1 fire, and it's clear he doesn't have fire prevention because and he just put it out. He did not have it on the full superstructure. So we can infer his build. Maybe he's a secondary build. Maybe he's a concealment build, but he is certainly not a fire prevention build. And he's turning towards us. Thankfully, we have such a terrible fire chance, at least in this game. I just don't know why it was so low, that it doesn't matter. Oh, there we go. Now he's on fire, and this should stick for at least 45 seconds. That could be good dot damage. And I'm getting a little close. I really did feel like the turrets wanted me. So I pop my smoke, and I hide in my smoke. That is going to cause him to go against friendlies that probably are not interested. And look at this AP, by the way. I was commenting in the stream, why is the damage so poor? I'm aiming exactly where the shell should go, the superstructure and that upper belt on the hull. It's just not doing the kind of damage I want. I mean, look at all the fail to penetrate with AP. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. Is it 130? Yes, it is 130. But I wouldn't really know based on that AP performance, right? Yeah, I mean, the turrets does have armor, but it should stick in the armor. It shouldn't fail to completely penetrate. So, whatever, right? The target's dying. We're not risking the ship at all. Our friendly is still alive, barely alive. And then New Mexico is the only one left on this flank. There is an enemy cruiser, as weird as it sounds, over by our base. Yes, he was successful in bypassing the entire fleet who was fighting around A, or A, where are you getting A from, Notser? Around the enemy base, the team that moved through the area that's usually C point on the domination mode, he's over by our base. Somehow. Who knows? But this New Mexico, not going anywhere. The Atlanta, extremely low. And please, Atlanta, survive. I want you to live. Don't die. Wow, the New Mexico went after the Bayern, it looks like. I think he absolutely fired at the Bayern. I would not have done that. I would have actually gone after the Atlanta. At least I would have chain fired the main gun and made sure he died. Once I could confirm he's dead, then I would turn on probably the Bayern. Because I am 12.3 kilometers away. That is not an easy shot. It is not easy. Oh, and finally he's going after the Atlanta. It's not an easy shot to go after a destroyer this far away. And I know it. 2 fires, yes. I believe he's already put out all the fires that he can. I think he's going to burn down. I think he's going to burn down for good. Friendly Bayern fires at him, and he gets the kill. Good job, Bayern. Bayern gets like 4,000, roughly. And there's only that enemy cruiser left. There's no way I'm going back for that cruiser. I'm just going to go to my capture point and in the game. So the Minsk. How did she play? She felt like a ship that belongs between the Gnevny and the Kiev. And that's exactly what I got. It didn't have good torpedoes. The gun systems felt pretty good. The AP was a little bit questionable. I don't understand that. I need to do a little bit more research. But overall, I can't complain doing 133,000 points of damage in a tier 7, tier 8 game. Yeah, pretty good. We did miss out on Kraken, but to be fair, since it is an unreleased ship, I don't really get medals anyway. I would rather someone else get it. But the ship's pretty good, and I'm using the premium camo if you haven't noticed. It also looks pretty cool. So this is how it's going to work out for premium camo. If you have it on the Kiev, it's going to be the exact same camo that you had previously, and you should have it unlocked on your Kiev. I don't know. I'm going to assume that you're going to have the camo, the premium camo, unlocked on the tier 7, whatever happens to be going into that slot, which is the Minsk. But the brand new ships have their own camo you've never seen before, theoretically. The ships that you've already had, like the Ognivo, the Udaloy, the Tashkent, yes, the Tashkent still has 2 separate camos. We'll see. Is it going to be good at tier 9? I doubt it. It's not going to be as good as the Udaloy. Are you kidding me? There's no way. The Udaloy is fantastic. Fantastic. But so is this Minsk. I really enjoy the Soviet destroyer line. It has a good identity. Is it easy to deal with? Absolutely not. A good, skilled commander is going to force you to have to engage a destroyer that is moving extremely fast at 11, 12 kilometer range on average. That's very hard, very difficult. But as far as this game is concerned, the Minsk gets an A+. 4 kills, 15 fires, 133,000 points of damage done. Absolutely great. 2,081 base XP, and someone scored 22. How is that possible? But it was a great game. It was a great game. I really enjoyed this Minsk. I'm not worried at all when this comes in at the tier 7. Most of my damage, of course, HE. Just fire the guns at max range, baby. Very few people actually fired at us, which is surprising, I think. What with me being on the front, of course, I was... Fired me? Yeah, okay. Keep going. I hope it was enjoyable to see the Minsk. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you next time.